Hello, and you're all really welcome to this immunity, strengthen and protect through the vision of Chinese medicine. So Chinese medicine and Western medicine often overlap, and I love the overlaps. And I'm here today to show you some acupuncture points, some food, and some Qigong exercises that will really help you strengthen your immunity and to give you an understanding of your immune system through Chinese medicine. I love the language of Chinese medicine. For me, it's just really poetic and it enables me to understand what my body is saying. I know what the symptoms of my body are because of because of what it does, how it feels, how it looks, the color of my skin, the facial diagnosis, some of the symptoms that I get, and those symptoms then inform what I eat, how I move, and some of the different practices that I will need. So that's my intention, is to really just share what I know with you so that you can understand what your body is saying to you. So we're here for immunity. And what does that mean in Chinese medicine? Well, let's start at the basis of it. Qi. We might have come across that word in Qigong, Qi flow with Joe. You know, we have a lot of Tai Chi. This is Qi means energy. And the word Qi in Chinese, when it's written in Chinese, are two characters put together. And pretty much they are kind of rice and air, in some ways often seen as the steam coming off rice. And so we think of energy in terms of the immune system and energy in the body as this food, this rice and air. So in terms of our bodies, that's the food we eat and the way in which we breathe give us our earthly energy. That is what makes us function. That's what created the imagination for this class today. It's what created the lights and the books behind us. Energy is everything, whether that's energy that begins in the mind with an idea or the energy that means that I can move my hand like this and I can breathe. So this is Qi, this is energy. And the breath that we breathe, often we are aware of energy coming from food, but the air that we breathe and the way in which we breathe also affects our energy. And these two together, this food and this air, they rise up in Chinese medicine and they make what's called Wei Qi. Wei Qi. And I like to think it about, if you're a child of the 70s like me, then you will remember the Ready Brek adverts that have this kind of golden orange glow all around us. That is Wei Qi. It is a protective boundary energy that surrounds us. And that, in terms of Chinese medicine, is the immune system. So Chinese medicine has been around for thousands of years, and they really understood, even thousands of years, the connection between the immune system and our lungs, the way in which we breathe, and the food in which we eat. Because if you think of what's our immune system in Western medicine, it is our skin. So viruses can't get in through the skin, but it is semi-permanent, porous. It does allow us some moisture in, and it also allows pathogens and virus to leave through the skin. If you think about sweating and expelling toxins through the skin. Also the mucous membranes that fill the lungs, the nasal passageways, the mouth, even through the throat. These are part of the immune system. 70% of our immune system are located in the large intestine, which is in the immune receptors. That's 70% in the large intestine. And even our immune system is in the stomach and the spleen, with the stomach acid and killing any bacteria or viruses that may come in through the stomach or come in through the lung. So this lung energy and this spleen energy rises up to form our immune system. And even thousands of years ago, that's what the Chinese medicine system understood. But how to use this practically in our everyday life? Well, it's really easy. You just go to my book and you have a look at the 5 elements. Now, the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, obviously the elements, we have fire, water, earth, And the immune system's element is metal. So when you think of metal, you might think of your boundaries. Metal is the walls of something, and that's what your immune system is. It's a boundary that prevents viruses entering in. And for each of the elements, there is a color, a flavor, a time of day, an organ of the skin, an organ of the body. Okay. So very first, if you have your books, you could do this even now. You just go to the first infographic, and you can see here, you can see all the body, and it's separated into colors and seasons. And you can see here the lung and the large intestine is gray. So the color for the lung, large intestine is actually white, but I couldn't put it in the book. I had to make it kind of gray. So if you see people with a compromised immune system, often they have a very white color to them. If you have the flu or the cold, you'll look very white. Or if you have an autoimmune such as celiac disease, often this is a key indicator of your immune system is actually your skin color. Because we think about the boundary of the body is the skin, and in Chinese medicine the skin is seen as the third lung. So that's another symptom. So if you have problems with your skin such as psoriasis, eczema, or even a rash, they say COVID will often give you a rash, or any of these kind of immune conditions, often the body will produce a rash. You can see it on your skin, and you know that there's something wrong then with your lung and large intestine. Facially on the body, the lower lip is your diagnostic tool for your large intestine. So if this becomes really dry or cracked, if you get dark black blue blisters on the lower lip, this is telling you also your immune system, your large intestine is under attack. Okay, so the color is white. The time of year, what time of year does our immune system suffer the most? In the northern hemisphere, it's autumn. It's the season of fall, because really the seasons change. It can be really cold one minute, raining the next, and our body is constantly having to adapt and change, and they can really throw the immune system off balance, and those invading viruses can penetrate our boundary and come into the body, either through the lungs or through the stomach. So these are some of the problems. So we've gone through the color, we've gone through the time of year, we've gone through the element. So now let's have a look at the flavor. So each of these 5 element system has a flavor, a time of year. And we go to the second infographic here. So we are looking here at autumn and the lungs. And what's the things here that I've drawn? It's ginger, onions, garlic. They're all of the flavor pungent. If you imagine that you're eating them, they've got quite a, is there another word for pungent? They've got quite a strong and forceful flavor. So if I compare this to the kidney, which is the water element, this likes water, the water element. This is water, and the flavor is salty. So each of our organs correspond to a specific flavor, and the lung, large intestine, which is the immune system, responds to pungent flavors. So if you want to keep your immune system strong, the flavor you're looking for is pungent. And these foods would involve anything of the onion family. So onions, leeks, scallions, garlic, anything of that family would strengthen the immune system. And this has long been known in Western medicine as well. Garlic is, what does that do? It wards off vampires. We have this idea of garlic warding off anything outside of the body that will threaten and harm us. So pungent flavors. What else is a pungent flavor? Well, ginger and spices such as clove, cinnamon. Chilies are very good for the lung and the large intestine. But I'm glad you asked that question, because actually you need to keep your yin yang balance. If you have had a virus that has come inside the body, what do you often do? You want to go home, you want to get a duvet, you want to get a hot water bottle, and you kind of want to sweat the virus out. Cumin, coriander, cloves, cinnamon, all of these that are used at autumn time of year, coming into Christmas, you will smell those wonderful aromas. They help open the pores and release the virus to the outside. But you don't want too much of it, because what does that do? When you sweat, that also lowers the body temperature. That's what sweating is there for, is lower. So you can see if you'd eaten too much chili, you'd be sweating too much, and you'd actually start getting you'd get the chills. So you need to keep a yin yang balance in everything I'm saying here. So pungent foods, but also think of the color. Do you remember I said the color was white? So white foods also benefit the lung and large intestine. Specifically, I'm talking onions, leeks, garlics, they're all kind of white in color, but also mushrooms. Mushrooms help the body metabolize the vitamin D that you get from sunlight. Okay, so we need this vitamin D, but where else do we get it? It's in mushrooms. Now, what am I saying? Sunlight actually helps the body get vitamin D, but vitamin D is also in mushrooms. And especially shiitake mushrooms and reishi mushrooms are known to really benefit the large intestine, especially if you've had colon cancer or any invasive disease of the colon. Mushrooms, and especially shiitake and reishi mushrooms, help to bring the large intestine, help to repair the large intestine. So as a basic, here's some foods. If you want to know some more, you can even go to the first book, and these are listed in the first book. You can see here, yes, mushroom risotto with shiitake mushrooms, brilliant autumnal foods. Which also brings me on to the next. When I'm talking white, people are like, well, can I drink milk then? Milk is white. Actually, you don't want to be drinking too much of the dairy, too much, that yin yang balance. Too much dairy will produce phlegm, but a little bit of probacterial yogurt or kefir, anything like this will really help the large intestines, because it's full of the bacteria that we need that will reset the microbiome in the large intestine, that healthy gut bacteria that we need in the large intestine. That's found in all your, think pungent again, kimchi, sauerkraut, olives, to a degree butter as well. Butter is fermented foods. Any fermented foods will really help the large intestine. And what flavor do they generally have? Usually they are of a pungent flavor. So even kind of miso would be kind of like a salty, pungent flavor. Umeboshi plum, very sour, very pungent. They're all listed in both of these books. You can go and have a look at the full range of foods and have a look at the recipes using all those foods in there. And kimchi is in here as well, a nice vegan kimchi in here. So what actually compromises the immune system? Well, obviously having any foods that really clog up the lung and large intestine. So too much dairy, too much hard cheese, too much milk, even in a way, too much citrus. If you have too much orange juice, then that actually is too much of the sweet flavor, which will damage the spleen. And do you remember I said the spleen and the lung energy rises to form this boundary? Then if you're taking too much orange juice, that will also sink the energy down, 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 and it will really not help the spleen. The sweet flavor is connected to the spleen. So too much sugar and too much sweet food will damage the spleen and will damage your immune system. And I promised I would share a quick tip. What if you can't stop eating sweets? What if you really want that sweet flavor all the time? Well, there's a trick in Chinese medicine is you go and look for the sour flavor. So you take a little bit of lemon, you have lemon in hot water, you lick a lemon, you have a little bit of umeboshi plum or kimchi. All of those confuse the taste buds and they stop you wanting the sweet flavor. So if you go and look for sour foods, which are connected to the liver, then that will confuse your taste buds and stop you wanting this sweet flavor, because too much sugar will also create a lot of dampness in the body, which will suppress your own immune system. So we've covered the foods for the immune system, for the lung and the large intestine. Also the color and the time of year. But I thought I would show you a really, really good point and a good Qigong exercise that you can use with this point. So this is lung 1. So what I want you to do is find your clavicle, which is that bony bit at the beginning of your collarbone, and go out to the outside, your rotator cuff, and you'll find kind of like a little divot. Can you see that on me? I've got where my collarbone is meeting my rotator cuff. I'm going to go down 3 fingers and I'm going to press into here. And probably if I had my mics on for everybody would be going, oh, ow, that's sore. What does it mean if it's sore, Joe? Well, it can mean that it is your lungs are congested. And remember, with the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, they don't disassociate your emotions from your body. You are also an emotional body, and what you feel and what you think can impact how your body physically feels. So the emotion with the lung and large intestine and the immune system is grief. So if you feel your lungs are not breathing deeply because maybe you are feeling grief and you are only breathing very shallowly, that's going to have an impact on your immune system. So to help with the emotional release of grief, I want you to find lung 1. So 3 fingers down, massage into here. And can you see already my shoulders are having to come back? Quite often these days we spend our time at the computer or our shoulders are hunched over, and we can begin to feel very disconnected and grief and loss and feeling alone. So by doing lung 1, we connect with the breath, connect with each other. Can you see how my shoulders are back? All right, so we found lung 1. Now we're going to use a Qigong exercise. So making kind of what we call crane's bills, where your fingers are joined to your thumbs, put those in there, and now just start to make circles with your elbows. Rotating the shoulders and moving the energy through lung 1. Now let's change the other way. You don't have to make big circles. You can make small circles. If you are feeling, if you've got frozen shoulder, or your shoulders are very stiff, or you just don't feel like you've got the power to do that, you can make small circles. You can play around with this exercise. And the other way. And just feel how you feel now. If you breathe in through your nose, does it feel like the breath is going deeper down into the bottom of your lungs? Does it feel like the top of your chest is open? So this is Qigong. Qigong is Qi, as I've explained, is energy, and Gong is exercise and also gathering. So it's how to really use the energy that's in our body. So I do Qigong every morning, And next month, Qigong is going to be all about the immune system. So we're going to be doing lots and lots of Qigong and pressure points for the immune system. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of food, especially to do with the spleen and those kind of sweet foods, alternatives, and what happens when you're craving a lot of that sweet stuff. That's all next month. So, but I wanted to keep on giving you a broad perspective of the immune system in Chinese medicine. If you do feel unwell and you have a temperature or a cough, please go and see your doctor. Chinese medicine is a complementary therapy and it's not made to substitute Western medicine. Also to remember the emotional impacts. And people often ask me, well, if I'm strengthening the immune system, if you suffer from an autoimmune condition, is that going to kind of make that worse? No, it's not. Often the autoimmune conditions can be when a virus has come in and really is lodged in the body and won't move, or it can be brought on by an emotional response together with the external pathogen. Really, for lots of autoimmune conditions, there's no real understanding in Western medicine what is going on and how it can be treated. It's what's considered a chronic disease. In Chinese medicine, what we want to do is we want to stop you getting ill first. Traditionally, Chinese medicine doctors were only paid, they were paid a subscription fee, a bit like my Chi Flow with Joe, to keep you well. And when you got sick, then you didn't pay because the practitioner wasn't doing his job properly or her job properly. So Chinese medicine is made to keep you well, okay, before the disease comes in. So I wanted to really talk a little bit about the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is called the wandering nerve, and it goes from the back of the skull around the heart and down to the large intestine. And that nervous system is the second largest nerve in the body. The first one is the central. It goes down the spine, up from the sacrum, up the spine to the cranium and all around your skull. The second one is the vagus nerve. And quite often, if we have experienced chronic stress or post-traumatic stress disorder, these can lead to a chronic autoimmune disease where the body starts to attack itself. Quite often, they create a lot of inflammation, swelling, pain. So eczema and psoriasis sometimes are seen as an autoimmune condition. So it's often in Chinese medicine would be seen as your large intestine is cold and damp and you need to warm that up. And the other thing you need to do is work with the triple heater. The triple heater, 3 heaters, 1, 2, 3, brain, chest, gut. What does that remind you of? The vagus nerve. So if you're working with the triple heater, you're working with the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve, as I said, comes down from the base of the spine, over the neck and down to the chest. So a really good way to boost the immune system is just what's called give a thymus thump and tap around the sternum, this part here. If you want to find the middle, put your thumbs underneath your armpits, bring your middle fingers in and give a tap into here. You can make the crane's bill and you can tap into here. So everybody do that now. I'm making circles. Now, on a physical level, what that's doing also is that's helping produce T cells, and T cells are a vital part of your immune system. So I just love it that thousands of years ago, they knew intuitively what was working for the immune system. Now we know that this is stimulating T cell production, but thousands of years ago, this was actually working the triple heater meridian and the heart protector. Now put your hand here and just feel the vibration. Feel the vibration. You can actually buy something for the vagus nerve that vibrates this area. But if you don't want to go off and buy that, what you can do is tap. You can also sing and chant. You can hum. Sea swimming is also very good for the vagus nerve. And if you have chronic fatigue, you can really help that kind of chronic fatigue by doing this thymus thump. Place your hand here. Just feel the warmth and the vibration. Breathe. Very good. Now I'm going to show you one last massage for the triple heater. So the triple heater meridian starts here at the edge of the eyebrows, goes over to the top of the ear, around the ear, down the neck, and then from the shoulder down to the fourth finger. But what we're going to do is we're just going to massage the triple heater and come down and hold where we did that thymus thumping. So you're going to have to watch me first. So covering your eyes, we sweep out across the eyebrows, massage the temples, around the back of the ears, stroking the neck, and down to where we did the thymus thump. All right, let's do that together. Hands over the eyes, come to the temples, give a lovely rub over the ears, stroking the neck, and down. And again. See if what you can feel is perhaps you can feel the energy sinking in your body. Perhaps you feel more grounded. Perhaps you feel more relaxed. Perhaps you feel more at home in your body. We'll do one more time. Stroking as if you're a lovely cat. Down, or if you don't like cats, you like dogs, perhaps you're a lovely dog. And just holding at that point in the middle of the chest. Give a nice little rub. Hold. And release. You can take it down, down, down to the belly. So I would love to hear how that exercise, how that massage, how any of the points made you feel. And hopefully I've given you kind of some kind of taster into the immune system in Chinese medicine. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Qi-filled day. Sending you lots of Qi. Take it easy. See you soon.